Happy Lunar New Year. This year is the Year of the Snake, which represents wisdom, transformation, and personal growth, with the wood element adding flexibility and renewal. So I hope January has been good for you thus far, and that the rest of the year will be one of transformation, growth, and renewal for you in abundance. For today, I'm excited to share with you a video with Niles Wittgenstein, who is the founder of Nestment, which provides a way for co-ownership of real estate. I've done an interview with Niles in the past, and you'll be able to find the link to that in the description. But I really wanted to share an update video as they're launching their second accelerator program known called NestGen. This is a 5-week program in which they will be helping participants learn about and prepare for co-ownership of real estate, even if they feel like it's close to impossible to purchase a home in the area due to high home values. The deadline for applications is February 12th, so please help spread the word to your family, friends, and colleagues who might benefit from this. Before I launch into the video, I just wanted to share a few dates with you. February 12th, we're going to be having a seminar on navigating landlord-tenant law. Attorney Grant H. Baker will be with us sharing the laws and regulations that every housing provider and property manager should be aware of. This will be in person in Millbrae, but for those who can't attend, we will also share the video on this channel. March 19th, we'll be doing a seminar on the ABCs of HOAs, and this will be via Zoom. This is designed for condo owners, buyers, and sellers to better understand the nuances of HOAs, and we'll be discussing things like special assessments, insurance challenges, SB 326 balcony inspection requirements, as well as tips for reviewing HOA documents, especially if you're planning to buy. And then last but not least, we have on May 3rd, we'll have our annual and ever popular shredding and e-waste event at Mills High School in Millbrae from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event is free, but we collect donations for Mills High School. And last year, we were able to raise almost $1,800, and I would love to beat that this year. So without further ado, here's the video on NestGen. Well, happy Lunar New Year.
Lunar New Year as well.
So thank you for joining me on this video. And we've done videos together before, and I'll put a link to that. But if you can just do a brief intro
Yeah.
into who you are, what Nestment is, and how you got started, just a little bit about that company as a
Sure.
whole.
Yeah. So Nestment is focused on making home ownership possible, crossing out the IM because so many millennial and Gen Z feel like it's an impossible task. And we do that by enabling millennial and Gen Z to find creative solutions, all above board, all through a process, but require kind of an orchestration across the ecosystem of lenders, agents, understanding how you have goal alignment, financial projections, and agreements. So the typical creative solutions that Nestment helps is around house hacking. So that's being able to purchase a home or a primary multi-unit, usually 2 to 4 units, living in one of the rooms or units and then renting out the others. So our system helps with doing the financial projections on that, figuring out how to do that. The second is what we have a big group called rent investors. So these are folks who live in high cost places. So think, we have a lot of tech workers who will never be able to afford Cupertino or Mountain View for a decade or so, even with saving in their good jobs, right? And so they'll buy in another place first, either a vacation rental or a long-term rental, which will allow them to increase equity over time. Usually it's paying for itself or there's some positive cash flow. Again, our system does the analysis of the properties, helps them out. And any of these can be done by an individual or a couple. But also one of our key value propositions is to enable groups of people, usually somewhere between 2 to 4 folks, who are typically family and friends, right? Giving them the roadmap, the agreements, the ability, and then matching them with the right lenders and obviously the right agents like yourself, Gene, who can help them understand that process as well. So we're
Mhm.
super excited. We've been growing 30% month over month. We have hit an all-time low in this country of first-time home ownership, right? We're at 24% of
Mhm.
transactions. It used to hover historically around, 32 to 36%. So we think there's about 600,000 transactions, about $300 billion of volume that isn't there. And what that, on one hand, that's a huge opportunity. On the other hand, there's actually a bit of fear and concern because at the same time, we have a historical net worth gap between owners and renters, right?
Hmm.
Your average first time median buyer age is 38 versus 31 10 years ago. And
Hmm.
all of those things become a huge, huge barrier to generational wealth, especially in a world where Wall Street's putting money towards build to rent communities, right? Because people
Right.
have given up. So ultimately, we help millennial and Gen Z folks find the creative solutions to overcome the down payment hurdles, overcome the high interest rate hurdles, and
Hmm.
get them to a first time ownership of a property. So
Sure.
that's it in a nutshell. And I
Yeah, no, and
more about NestGen too. So
yeah, I think that's great. And I mean, you say millennials and Gen Z, it's not because you're like trying to discriminate against the boomers or the older. It's just that those who are older generally tend to already have some equity, built up. They have savings. They're in a little better position.
It's
So
for
this
it's for
is
everyone. We have
right.
all ages, but you when you're kind of speaking to certain folks. Now, I will say a large segment of our users are
Hmm.
older adults and their adult children, meaning
Hmm.
like we have a lot of folks who are living together in cohabitating in 2 to 4 unit buildings where they're in
Hmm.
multiple units, so they get their own space, right? But they're buying
Right.
it at less cost per square foot, right? Which allows them, and then maybe using the rental income to offset. Um,
Hmm.
they're they also, we have a lot of folks where older adults are just helping and supporting in the process, but they want to know that there's a structure, right?
Sure.
They might not feel comfortable just gifting or just saying, hey, here's, but they want to know that either they're a part owner or that even if they are gifting, like how, what's the process that their kids are going to go through. So,
Sure.
so yeah, so I mean, and financial necessities really breeding a lot of this, but actually, what we're finding is it's building some really beautiful connections in community. We also
Hmm.
have a lot of roommates who decide to buy together too, because they've been living together already, and they're paying
Hmm.
rent to a landlord, and they're like, hey, well, maybe what our rent can go towards is actually owning a home together. So we
Right.
have those segments as well.
Yeah. And so the beauty of it is, I mean, people can always buy together, but I think Nestment is there to help empower that, right? And to give structure, give resources, support, and even, making sure that you have a good exit plan, just all of that to be able to come around that. Okay. And
Exactly. Yeah,
so,
it
yeah.
hasn't. It's been done for a long time, but oftentimes you found it happening with maybe the more sophisticated people or the folks who
Hmm.
felt most comfortable. And so our goal is really to enable, because now the broader majority will need that if they're going to actually be able to own. So.
Sure. So to go into a little bit of your accelerator program, because that's really exciting.
Yeah, so really excited about the accelerator program. So, what we decided to do was, as we were taking different groups through this process of owning, we said, hey, can we scale this to 150 people at one time, right? Because we're going through a similar process, and then also they could create community amongst themselves too. So we started something called NestGen. It's the first ever first time home buying accelerator. And there's no cost for our platform or the program. But what it does is it takes folks through a 5 week course, right? And it's once a week with like a small assignment each week. Not meant to be burdensome. We know people are
Mhm.
super busy, but actually meant to take you down the right path. So it starts with here are a set of alternative strategies if it's not easy for you to buy just right out of the gate.
Mhm.
Then here's how to understand the different financial projections, what things like forward-looking appreciation mean and equity mean, and all of those things. Um, here's kind of lifting the veil on lending and financing, what's really going on behind that, and how to get prepared. Here's the role of the realtor, right? And the role that they play, and then insurance, taxes, et cetera, right? And by the end of the program, we have something called the NestGen narrative. So people, it's a final assignment where they essentially get to use the tools, say, this is the type of property using this strategy I would get. A lot of them have gotten pre-approved as they go through the program too, like and they get connected with the realtor that's in their area, right? So really exciting opportunity to really have a group come together and go through this process, feel like a community, get educated. You don't have to be buying in 3 months. It could be, 6 to 9 months from now too, just within the next year is the general goal. Um, and what's really fun is, we after you turn in your final assignment, we'll select, about 10 different folks from that group to receive 1% back on their closing through our relationships and the take that we would normally we'd credit it back to those groups. And then everyone receives $500 off at closing, as well as some other cool stuff from some of our sponsors as well. So
Wow.
really excited about the program. We took about 180 folks for our first cohort. It had a 92% NPS score in terms of people being excited about the program. And yeah, and it's all about education, empowerment, building wealth, and building community. And we think this program does a great job of helping. So please, apply or send it to somebody. We're keeping applications open till February 11th right now. And we're getting quite a few. So yeah,
And how many people are you willing to take on?
I think we're gonna be somewhere around the same number, 180 to 200.
Okay.
We don't ask overly imposing questions, but we do ask, have you saved up a bit for a down payment? And
Mm,
recognizing that we have lending and programs that, for as little as 3% down, you could potentially, own, right? But that
mhm,
being said, we want to know where people are at. Do they have a sense of their own budget? What are they interested in? What's their timeline? And so we'll usually take somewhere between 150 to 200, the most qualified. Now, everybody will get a follow-up from us and be a part of our program and our system, and either can be in another cohort. But we're excited to open it up to as many people as we can. So.
mhm. And is there a cost involved?
No, no cost at all. So it's all sponsored. We have amazing data sponsors like CoreLogic. We have
Great.
a great lending sponsor, Watermark, and JMG's supporting in some markets as well. So yeah, so we are able to give this away for free essentially, and be
Wow.
able to benefit other folks too.
Wow. And is there there's no age limit or anything like
No,
that,
there's
right?
zero
That
age
involved.
limit. Now, if you're
Yeah.
interested in your 20 or 80, right? Like it doesn't matter. Come join. I think in our first cohort, we had folks in their 60s who were part of the program as well.
Mhm.
Our average age sits around 30 or so, but
Okay.
it really spans from
Sure.
22. A couple college graduates get their first duplexes where they're living in one
Wow.
and then renting the others because they knew they were graduating. And so,
Wow. That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, very,
And are
very.
you planning to do more of these? Because February
Yes,
12th is coming up, but
yes. So we are planning to do more, but I would say don't wait. Apply.
mhm.
And but we'll be doing one. We'll be actually doing them with different focus areas. Like we're actually doing one for Major League Soccer and United Soccer League because we were
Wow.
working with a lot of their organizations. We're doing one that's going to be in partnership with AARP for multi-generational buying. We're doing one for first responders, and then we'll do a more general one as well in the second
Great.
part of the year.
Okay, that's awesome. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping to help get the word out through this video and through our network as well, because we do have a lot of actually a lot of my colleagues from, PTA and things like that. Our children are all in their 30s, early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. And so it's definitely hitting that spot where, especially being here in the Bay Area, you want to have encourage them to own their own homes or, to buy homes. And at the same time, just that barrier to entry is so high
Yeah.
compared to, when we were younger. And so I'm really excited about this program and love what
Glad
you
you
do.
are. Well, no,
Yeah.
thank you, and thank you for being such a good supporter and investor and part of our tribe here. So thank you again, Gene.